I would be open to saying if someone is not finding value, I think we should respect their decision to leave, because it changes the mood in the group. But if it's a time, by the end of the first session, there are very few holdouts, because we usually, we've started with the issues paper. We start by looking at how our brains are wired. We use the Herman Brain Dominance instrument, and we look at those differences, and usually when we put those up so everyone can see everyone else's, I can talk about their polarizations, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's not because you're a bad guy, but it's because you're thinking bottom line and I'm thinking future, top line. And both are important, but we haven't respected how those come together. So, and then we always end with dialogue, and that's learning how to make it safe to really hear each other at a deeper level. And so by the end of the first time, usually everyone's on board. I might have some cynics and skeptics, and I check in by phone or in person and say, how did you feel about the session? And they give us feedback at the end of every session. And if someone really pans the session, I sit down with them and say, be my teacher. Help me know how you saw that and how we can make it better. And again, in my mind, that's modeling servant leadership. And when I do that, I find I learn a heck of a lot, and those people that might be seen as troublemakers or detractors become my most powerful and valuable teachers. And when the group sees me honestly following the lead and learning from that person and honoring their pushback, they get it. So does that fit for you? I learned early on when I was working in juvenile detention centers and on the streets and in our inner city programs that I needed to find the person least likely to buy what I was offering. And if I could find a way to get them to be my partner, and I was honestly following them, I'd learn a lot and we'd be successful. If I tried to force them, I'd never win. I'd just never win, because they had the confidence. That's the opinion leader. I was the outsider. And, I'd lose before it ever started if I tried that game. But if you think about it, that's pretty arrogant. And having the confidence, it is a leap of faith. It's constantly a leap of faith. I would say this: I never work with clients without getting very centered. And I use a little personal meditation. I will to will thy will. What I'm doing with that is parking my ego, hopefully, and inviting Spirit to move through me. And simply, I'm inviting the Spirit of Robert Greenleaf, the Spirit of whatever wisdom there is that's greater than me, to help me listen in the right way and be able to connect with that person and hear what they need to say to me. And there's an amazing difference when I am working from that state of expanded consciousness versus trying to go in and control the situation. The control always falls short. And I find the second, or what I was describing, expanding my consciousness, my sensory, all that's about me, that's when the miracle happens. That's the leap of faith, the something I can't predict, the something I don't know. And often at the end the person will say to me, thank you for X, and it's something I didn't know to say. Maybe it was a story I brought in about my own personal tragedies, being divorced and a single parent, and in the instance I might think, oh, maybe I shouldn't tell them this, and then later they might tearfully say, thank you for telling me about your divorce. I felt like such a failure in my own, and it was so affirming that you were willing to share your own pain and struggle, and that you've sought counseling or whatever. And that to me is the divine message that I didn't plan to do it, but intuition just caused that to come forth. And I guess for me, intuition is another word for spirit. It's that divine knowing that's in all of us and is as I learn to trust it, so much more happens.